trying to fit your kids in and your husband in. That makes no sense. That's a recipe for disaster. Hey guys, this is your Jamaican girl Ashari, and welcome to another episode of Getting It Real with me. Yeah, so what are we up to today? Before we do that, let's give a shout out to all my new subscribers, the ones who have already been a part of this family from day one. You are loyal and I love and appreciate you. The ones that have just joined, welcome to the family. We're giving you some Getting Real love. And for those who have not yet subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscription button. It will mean a lot to me on this journey to 1,000 subscribers. So let's have a real discussion today. So for those who don't know, I'm a wife. I'm also a mother of one daughter. I'm a proposals and contracts developer. I'm also an author, and I'm also doing my master's as well. So it's a lot of things that is going on in my life right now, and people often ask, how do you juggle? How do you balance? Does anything suffer? How do you do it? We want to know the secret. So today I'm going to be doing a quick video sharing some tips that I use to keep me on track to ensure no areas of my life is lacking the attention that it needs. So my husband just intervened into my video. Yes. So back to what we were discussing. So I know it can be crazy for a lot of persons who are trying to juggle school, work, home, and even trying to do something on the side to make additional income, but it can be done. And I'm here to say that because I'm a living testimony that you can juggle multiple things at a time and still ensure that nothing lacks the attention that it needs. It's important for us to practice scheduling and sticking to it. I know most time when it comes on to us, we tend to put everything else at the front, and then we're like, oh well, or life or personal life or family life will just have to fit in. What I do is ensure that my family life and my routine is established, and then everything else gets added around that. Because for me, parenting is my number one job. Being a wife is my number one job. Everything else in my life has to fit around that spectrum, right? Don't let it be a case of you fitting work in, fitting school in, fitting whatever additional income jobs you're on into your life, and then you're trying to fit your kids in and your husband in. That makes no sense. That's a recipe for disaster. So let me share some tips on how I try to factor in everything so nothing loses the attention that it needs and we're all happy and all comfortable. So for one, we have an established routine at home. My daughter typically goes to school, but because of COVID, she has been home since January. So once she's up in the morning, I ensure that I've already outlined my activities that I want her to work on. And then let's just say 12 o'clock, I let her do her activities while I'm working. She's sitting next to me doing her activities. I'm doing my thing. And then I use my lunch break to work some more on my book or any additional projects that I'm working on within my lunchtime while having lunch at my desk, kind of like. Yes. And then I try to wrap up work by 5 o'clock every day. And then I start focusing on school between 5 to 7. Between 5 to 7, my husband kind of takes over helping me out with my daughter. And then at 7 o'clock, I try to figure out my family stuff. Like, what are we doing? Are we watching a movie? If dinner is not yet made, I'll go ahead and handle my dinner. My mother-in-law also lives with us. So that makes, cooking and laundry a little bit easier because she's so happy to assist with those. But for persons who don't have it, you try to fit that in, whether it's early morning for laundry or late night for laundry, and dinner. You start prepping dinner from the day before for the following day. That way on that day you don't feel so overwhelmed. You can also try prepping stuff for the week on the weekend. So on the weekend, sometimes I season my chicken or my meat, whatever meat kinds I plan to cook in the week. I season that on the weekend, put it in the fridge, and then in the week while working, I just go to the kitchen, grab out a parcel, get it started while working, and just try to balance that time out. School sometimes require extra time. I don't allow the extra time to come out at the time that my daughter and my husband should be having with me. So what I do is I wait until they're in bed and everybody's settled down and good. I set my alarm to wake me up maybe at 3 or 4 o'clock to go and do some additional schoolwork or whatever else project I'm working on. The goal is not to cause them to feel like they're on the back burner or to feel like they're not loved. My ultimate goal is to ensure that what I'm doing now in life, whatever I'm pursuing, whatever goals I want to achieve, they align with the bigger goal, and the bigger goal is to ensure that my family is happy. So it's also good to have these conversations with your partner, or if you're living with your parents, have this conversation with them. Let them know what is important to you and the goals you intend to achieve, with the timeline you intend to achieve them. I know in companies we're like, we need to set smart goals and objectives, but are we setting smart goals in our personal lives? I mean, don't set targets and goals that are impossible to achieve. They're not specific, they're not measurable, yet still we're setting them, and we know that 10 years from now we still can't achieve it. Do you expect your husband to be waiting up with you for 10 years while going to school? You know what I'm saying? Within that time, you're pushing him or her on the background or in the back. And you're like, oh, for 10 years, he's just there sitting down, not feeling active. When I'm doing my project, sometimes I even incorporate my husband in these. I was like, let's have a discussion about what I'm working on. And both of us end up working on the project together. Of course, that can be done. May seem impossible, but sometimes your husbands and wives want to be engaged in what you're actually doing. Yes, they're not doing a master's program, but yeah, it doesn't mean that it's not something that we can have a healthy conversation about. You know what I mean? Also, when the person understands what your goals and objectives are, then they can help out as much as possible. When I was working on my book, my husband didn't know. I wanted it to be a surprise, but oh my God, was it hard to do with everything else that I was doing. So eventually I had to let the cat out the bag and make him aware that, look, I'm working on a book. It's going to require more time. Can you assist me by helping my daughter out with homework? She wants to go to the park, she wants to go outside riding. Can you help her to fill in where I normally fill in for the next few weeks until this project is completed? Of course, once he understood what I was working on and what the ultimate goal was, he was so happy to assist. But having him in the dark was not helping out. He was just wondering, why am I always around the computer? Why can't I find time for them? But eventually, as soon as I opened up to him to make him aware of what I was up to, he was so glad to help. And when all hands, Jamaicans have a saying, the more hands that come together to make the work light, it's the easier it is for everyone. So the minute he hopped on board and started assisting me out, the work was so much smoother. And like a month, within a month my book was ready, as opposed to me trying to struggle doing it for 4 months and not getting anywhere because I did not have the support that I needed. So it's important to ensure that you're scheduling yourself. Don't overwork. Number one is to ensure you're giving yourself attention, the attention that it needs. Ensure you're eating right, you're getting enough sleep, and you're exercising, because your body needs all of that exercise to ensure that you are up to the task at hand. So it's very important to ensure that you are number one in terms of how you're treating yourself, right? So it's good to set up schedules, treat yourself well, and ensure you stick to those schedules. When I just started doing schedules, I was like, oh my God, I'm not used to this. Why do I have to stick with it? But sticking with a schedule actually helps you to get the job done. The minute you start cheating on yourself by jumping over stuff that you outlined that you wanted to do, is the minute that your mind mentally forgets about the schedule. It's like, oh, nothing on the schedule is important anymore, even though it may be important. So create that schedule and stick with it. Get me? Secondly, ensure that your family is aware of what you're working on so that they can contribute to the goal. At the end of the day, whatever you achieve, they will feel inclusive. They'll feel like they're a part of the dream, a part of the greater vision that you perceived and is now achieving. Get me? All right. And number one, I've said this so many times, ensure that your family don't get pushed to the back burner. Whatever you're working on, it should be fitting around your family, your husband and your child. Ensure that if it's your job tries to accommodate them, and if it's your schooling, the schooling works around your established schedule and your established activities that you do with your family. Don't try to just ram your family into something that is not working out for them. All right, so I know that was a mouthful, but yeah, I just wanted to drop some tips. People are always asking me, how do you do this? It seems so crazy, but it can be done. What works for me may not work for you. So you have to ensure that you are trying to find the best fit for your situation. All right, so thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, as I said before, and join the party. This is your homegirl, Oshari. Until next time, peace out. Wow, good. Take care of yourself. Do your thing.